Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Neville and Chat episode 21. Today is 135th day of me following Neville Goddard's teachings, and I will share with you where I'm at, what is happening in my life, and I think that you will find a lot of valuable stuff. If you remember, if you watched last episode 20, yes, it was yesterday for me, and it was a very hard day. I woke up feeling very bad, feeling really down, feeling trustless, so not trusting. So it was just a hard day, and I had to work hard to get back at it. So I will talk with you about some dreams that I had this night, because before I went to sleep I actually asked for some clearing, for some help. So I had two interesting things happening. One dream and one scene that I had while before going to sets. I want to talk a little bit about self-concept, about depressing thoughts, and about something, why you can say that God is your true father, and also about the pearl of great price. Okay, so let's get in. As you can hear from my voice, today I feel good, I feel okay, I feel trusting again, and it is really interesting how this way of changing how we think and how we see ourselves in the inside changes the way we feel on the outside. Okay, by the way, if you noticed, I've changed the background for Neville and Chat. You see, like mystical talk and like a mystical settings. I like it. I love it. Okay. So before I went to sleep, I thought about this world and what's its true essence, and I tried to do sets, so states akin to sleep in the most like school way of doing it, as Neville taught. Okay, so before going to bed I also read Freedom for All, and about the way you do with the two birds. I will release it in the future, but like I think it's Veliticus, or I don't know, remember now, but the idea is that you take one bird and you essentially put it off, and take the blood of one bird, and you take another bird and put this bird in this blood, and it's like a metaphor for your old self and your new self. Okay, and if you want the new self to cure your situation, you put this bird into the blood of the other. So it's almost always the same story. And so I will tell you later why it is important. I think why it is important, this situation. But essentially, when I was falling asleep, I remember seeing everything like this world not so solid anymore. I've seen it like shadows and like white souls, and moving effortlessly, and all of these souls, or like it was like pale figures, like astral entities, but I wasn't afraid. It just felt natural, and we were all moving, and I could move in that world, and I could move towards a bright light. Okay, so I think it was interesting to share with you. Maybe that's just how this 3D world is formed. Okay, that's something interesting that I wanted to share. Another thing is, then now I can share with you the ideas, the dream that I had. So the dream was happening underwater, and so I had to save some things and someone. I don't remember who it was, but it was like someone important. And so I went deep. I was on boat, a big rescuing boat, and I went on the in the deep. And I remember that there were monsters, but I was not afraid. And it was interesting, because I just had to to rescue somebody. And I think it's a metaphor for going deep and to rescuing myself from the pain that I was feeling yesterday, because that pain clearly was self-inflicted. There is no one else inside but I. So as the Bible says, I wound and I heal. There is no one else. It's the I wound and I heal. Interesting. And I remember some other people underwater, like hurting themselves, like with a knife, and so that a little bit of blood went outside. But I think it's because I read that before, or that's maybe releasing the old self before the new self can emerge from this underwater. So maybe this is a way of saying that I actually was heard and was listened to in my imagination, inside myself. Because, for example, depression. Yesterday I was feeling depressed, or I had feelings of depression, whatever you want to call it. But depression is essentially feeling that you are not what you want to be, that you don't have what you want to have, that you are not worthy to have it, or that you will never have it. And that's essentially depression in a nutshell. And you can look it up into psychology books. It's essentially this, and it is the problem of I. So when you go inside and you live with the person that has those things and that are the person that you want to be, then depression goes away. Even though if you have just hope, it will go away. Okay, so you can imagine yourself as, essentially we can imagine ourselves in two ways. We can say that we are human beings, or biological machines having soul experiences, or other experiences. Or you can say that we are we are these inner selves, or that we are consciousness experiencing the flesh, whichever way you want. But if you can imagine yourself being this being living inside yourself, and if you go inside and you detach from your body and you say that you are this being inside, and you can say that you go inside and you are in this imaginary world, how do you move inside this world? Think about that. How do you move inside this world? Do you feel easy inside? Or do you feel uneasy? Do you move with grace, or do you move with fear? Can you imagine yourself in the situations that you want to experience? Can you imagine it like being effortless? Or do you feel like you have to move strongly and that you have to force yourself to become that you have to force to become, instead of just being it, taking it? Because Neville says, just be it and dwell in it. Not visit it, but dwell in it. Wear it like a fragment, like clothes. You can choose it inside yourself. So then it all becomes experiencing and being that in the inside, and then, let's say, on quotes, waiting for it to express itself on the outside. Because I believe it will express. I have experienced it, even though there comes times when I start to doubt, but when I am at fear, and you can hear, who is in fear? I am in fear. And who is giving this fear? I am giving this fear to myself. Even if there is someone else who's telling me that I have to be afraid, in the end, it is the I, it is me who accepts that and lives by it. So that's the idea, to move freely inside, and in the end, even if it's not nothing real, at least you will have lived a rich life on the inside, because life is happening on the inside, and I believe that sooner or later it will manifest outside. And the more I yield to this idea, the better I feel, the better I tend to feel. Then, when Jesus used the words, I and my Father are one, but my Father is greater than me, than I. And when I hear my Father do it, the work, and then if you look, if you came from a hard upbringing like me, you can say that you were born from above. You can choose. You can say, if God is our Father, and Scripture clearly says it is, and if God is imagination, then your Father is imagination. And who are you? Imagination. And where do you live? In imagination. And what is this world? This world is just a shadow of our imagining, of our imagination. So if your father is imagination and you are imagination, then you and your father are one. But your imagination is the one that doeth the work. Your father does the work. You don't do the work, your father does the work. And your father is imagination. And imagination is consciousness, and it is everything. So this thought can just give you a deep feeling of relaxation and of everything is okay, you know. You are imagination, you are always with your father. You are always. And if imagination can be love, and it is love, and it is eternal love, and it is the goodwill of your father, it is his pleasure to give you things, because when it gives to you, it gives to himself, and it's in the end, it's just beautiful. This no, and in the end, when I don't yield to imagination, to the imaginal scenes and imaginal me that I want to be, and the world, the life that I want to create for myself, and when I try to force things, I feel bad. But on the other hand, I've noticed that when I yield back to it, when I just yield back and trust it, I feel so much better. I feel so free, so freeing, you know, because I actually studied a lot of cognitive behavior therapy, and I also did the work. And one of the things that I've noticed is that it does work on a superficial level, but it teaches you that you have to accept what you can't change. But in reality, for example, you can change a lot of the things. So maybe for example, I can't change my age, but I can change the circumstances of life. You know, I can change the way I see myself and feel myself, and miracles do happen, you know. So and that's beyond that. And even when I was listening to some really great people from CBT, a lot of them said, you know, I let the universe guide me and stuff like that. So it's not like very scientific, and so that also made me think. And okay, before we go to them, let's just say that when we are down, like me yesterday, one of the things that also helped me was to remember of the Pearl of Great Price. You know, the idea that if you want this thing to work, on one hand you have to trust it, and on another hand you have to buy the Pearl of Great Price. And what does this pearl give you? It gives you everything that you want. And in return, what do you have to give for it? Everything. But not money, not stocks, not properties from this world of Caesar, as Neville coined it. It asks for your trust to relinquish all other ideas. And that's what I think it's meant when in the Bible it is said that a rich person cannot enter the kingdom of heaven, and that you have to go through the eye of the needle. And I believe this is to say that we have to relinquish all the wrong ideas of ourselves, all our beliefs, etc., and just trust. And with this trust, we become lean And with this leanness, we can pass through this eye of the needle and be in the kingdom of heaven. And so, with these ideas, I bless you, I bless us, I bless our world, our imagination, God, and God blesses us. And I wish you a great day, and see you next time. And now, let us go to imagine into the silence.